And in that quiet moment, everything is at stake. Because this is where every YouTube journey begins. Not with success, not with views, but with uncertainty, with hesitation, with that invisible weight of, what if this fails? And yet, despite that pressure, the decision is made to start anyway. And that single decision becomes the first real signal of commitment, because the truth is simple and often ignored. YouTube does not reward intention, it rewards action. And in that fragile space between doubt and execution, the future of a creator quietly begins to take shape, while thousands of others remain stuck in planning, overthinking, and waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Now, imagine millions of creators across the world doing the same thing, uploading videos into a vast, silent ocean of content, hoping to be seen, hoping to be noticed, but only a few rise to the surface. And not because they are lucky, but because they understand that YouTube is not just a platform. It is a system built on psychology, timing, storytelling, and attention, where every click, every second watched, every swipe and pause reveals how humans behave when they are searching for meaning, entertainment, or escape. And those who learn to read this invisible language begin to gain an edge that others simply do not see yet. The reality is that when you create a YouTube channel, you are stepping into a battlefield of ideas, where your content must compete not only with other creators, but with distractions, notifications, and the endless pull of human attention. And in this battlefield, the first and most critical battle is not editing, not camera quality, not even your voice or personality. It is clarity. Because if your content does not clearly communicate why someone should watch, then even the most powerful algorithm cannot save it from being ignored. And this is where most beginners unknowingly fail, not due to lack of talent, but due to lack of direction, because without a clear purpose, every video becomes just another drop in an already overflowing ocean. Now, step into the mind of a viewer for a moment. Someone opens YouTube not to find your video, but to find something that benefits them, something that entertains them, something that holds their attention, and in the first few seconds, their brain is making a rapid decision, almost subconsciously asking, is this worth my time? And that decision is influenced by your title, your thumbnail, and the opening moments of your video, which means your success begins long before your content is watched. It begins at the idea stage, where you must think strategically, analyzing what people are already watching, what they are curious about, what problems they are trying to solve, and how your content can fit into that demand in a way that feels natural, engaging, and valuable. Many people believe that uploading more videos automatically leads to growth, but in reality, quantity without quality is like speaking loudly in an empty room. There may be noise, but there is no connection, no retention, and no impact. And the creators who succeed are not necessarily the ones who upload the most, but the ones who learn the fastest, who observe patterns, who study their analytics, who understand what works and what doesn't, and who are willing to adapt their strategy based on real feedback rather than assumptions. Because YouTube is not about guessing. It is about learning and evolving with every upload. There is a powerful shift that happens when a creator starts thinking like a viewer instead of just a creator, because suddenly the perspective changes. Now you are not just producing content, you are experiencing it, evaluating it, questioning it, asking yourself whether it truly holds attention, whether it delivers value, whether it creates an emotional response. And this shift builds empathy, which is one of the most powerful tools in content creation. Because when you understand what your audience wants before they even say it, you gain the ability to create content that naturally attracts and retains attention. But even with the right mindset and strategy, growth is not instant, and this is where patience becomes critical, because YouTube's success is rarely immediate. It is often slow, invisible, and frustrating in the beginning, where videos receive little to no views, where effort seems to go unnoticed. But behind the scenes, something important is happening. The algorithm is learning, testing, and analyzing your content, trying to determine where it belongs and who might enjoy it. And if you give up too early, you never give the system enough time to recognize your potential, which is why consistency is not just about uploading regularly, but about staying in the game long enough for momentum to build. Consistency itself, however, is often misunderstood because it is not just about frequency. It is about maintaining quality, maintaining a recognizable style, and maintaining a clear identity, because a channel without identity becomes forgettable. And in a world where attention is limited and competition is endless, being forgettable is the same as being invisible, which is why successful creators develop a strong, consistent presence that allows their audience to instantly recognize their content, creating familiarity and trust over time. And when one video finally begins to gain traction, when views start to climb and engagement starts to increase, that is where many creators make a crucial mistake. They become reactive instead of analytical, chasing the surface-level success without understanding the deeper reasons behind it. And in doing so, they risk losing the very strategy that brought them growth, which is why analysis is just as important as creation. Because growth without understanding is temporary, but growth with insight is sustainable. And long-term success depends on your ability to learn from every single video you upload. At the core of everything, beyond the strategy, beyond the algorithm, beyond the metrics, lies the most important truth. YouTube is fundamentally about connection, about storytelling, about delivering value in a way that resonates with people on a deeper level. And when you shift your mindset from chasing views to building impact, something powerful happens. You stop creating for numbers and start creating for people. And that transformation is what ultimately separates those who struggle from those who succeed. Because in the end, the creators who win are not just those who are seen, but those who are remembered. And that kind of impact is built slowly, deliberately, and with intention, one video at a time. Here is part 2 in the same cinematic single-paragraph style. As the journey continues, the creator begins to realize that success on YouTube is not a straight path, but a layered experience, where every decision carries weight and every detail silently contributes to the outcome. And in this stage, something critical starts to emerge. The understanding that ideas are the true currency of YouTube, because without strong ideas, even the best editing, the best camera, or the most polished voice cannot carry a video to success. And this is where many creators either rise or fall, depending on how deeply they are willing to think, observe, and analyze the world around them. Because ideas do not come from luck. They come from awareness, curiosity, and the ability to connect patterns that others overlook. When you study successful channels, you begin to notice a pattern that is often hidden at first glance. They do not randomly upload content. Instead, they operate with intention, choosing topics that already have demand, shaping them in a way that feels fresh and compelling, and presenting them with a hook that immediately captures attention. And this is not coincidence. It is strategy. And strategy is what transforms average creators into consistent performers. At this point, the creator starts experimenting, testing different formats, different styles, different tones, trying to understand what resonates. And each video becomes more than just content. It becomes data, a piece of evidence that either validates or challenges their approach. And this process, although slow and sometimes discouraging, is the foundation of growth, because without experimentation, there can be no improvement, and without improvement, there can be no long-term success. There is a moment in every creator's journey where doubt becomes louder than motivation, where results are not matching effort, and where the temptation to quit becomes stronger than the desire to continue. And it is in this moment that most people stop, but the ones who succeed learn to sit with discomfort, to push through uncertainty, and to trust the process even when there are no immediate rewards, because they understand that growth often happens in silence before it becomes visible. As the creator continues, they begin to notice something subtle but powerful. Certain videos perform better than others, not by chance, but because they align more closely with audience interest. And this realization shifts everything, because now instead of guessing, the creator starts analyzing, breaking down what made those videos successful. Was it the title, the thumbnail, the pacing, the topic, or the emotional hook? And by identifying these elements, they begin to replicate success intentionally rather than accidentally, and this is where true growth begins to take shape. The algorithm, often misunderstood as a mysterious force, is actually a system designed to reward viewer satisfaction, meaning that YouTube itself is not trying to limit creators, but to match content with the right audience. And when a video keeps viewers watching longer, engaging more, and interacting consistently, the algorithm responds by pushing that video to a wider audience, creating a ripple effect that can transform a small channel into a growing one. And this is why watch time, retention, and engagement are not just metrics. They are signals that determine whether your content deserves to be seen by more people. But behind all of this lies a deeper truth that many overlook. YouTube's success is not just technical, it is emotional. Because people do not watch videos just for information. They watch for connection, for feeling, for entertainment, and for escape. And if your content can evoke emotion, whether curiosity, excitement, inspiration, or even tension, then you have already taken a major step toward holding attention, because emotion is what keeps people watching, and without it, even the most informative content can feel empty and forgettable. As the creator refines their craft, they begin to understand the importance of the first few seconds of a video, where everything must be intentional, where the hook must be strong enough to stop the viewer from scrolling, and where the promise of value must be clear enough to earn their attention. Because in a world of endless content, you do not get multiple chances to make a first impression. You only get one, and that moment can determine the entire trajectory of your video. Over time, consistency begins to show results, but not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it appears as a slow increase in subscribers, sometimes as improved engagement, and sometimes as a deeper understanding of what works, and this gradual progress builds confidence, not just in the channel, but in the creator themselves, because now they are no longer guessing. They are building, learning, and improving with intention. And that shift from uncertainty to clarity is one of the most powerful transformations in the entire journey. However, even at this stage, challenges do not disappear. They evolve, because as your channel grows, expectations increase, competition becomes stronger, and the pressure to maintain quality becomes more intense. And this is where discipline becomes essential, because motivation may fluctuate, but discipline ensures that you continue creating even when inspiration is low, even when results are inconsistent, and even when doubts try to creep back in. And in the middle of all this growth, one realization becomes undeniable. YouTube is not a quick success system. It is a long-term game that rewards patience, learning, and consistency. And those who treat it as a short-term shortcut often burn out quickly, while those who approach it as a craft continue to improve, adapt, and evolve, until eventually their effort compounds into something powerful, something meaningful, and something lasting. Because true success is not built overnight. It is built through repeated action, refined thinking, and the quiet discipline of showing up again and again, even when no one is watching. Part 3. The journey deepens as the creator realizes something most people never fully understand. Every successful YouTube channel is built on a foundation of decisions, not luck. And each decision, whether conscious or unconscious, shapes the direction of growth. Because when you upload a video, you are not just publishing content. You are making a statement about your identity, your value, and your understanding of the audience. And over time, these decisions accumulate into a pattern that defines whether your channel grows or fades into silence. At this stage, the creator begins to notice the importance of niche selection, because trying to speak to everyone often results in speaking to no one, while focusing on a specific audience allows you to build a clear message, a consistent style, and a recognizable identity. And when viewers feel that your content is made specifically for them, they are far more likely to stay, engage, and return, creating a sense of loyalty that cannot be achieved through random content. As experimentation continues, the creator starts to analyze patterns not just within their own content, but across the platform, observing what types of videos are gaining attention, what formats are trending, and how other creators structure their storytelling. And this process is not about copying, but about understanding the underlying psychology of what makes content compelling, because once you understand the structure of success, you can adapt it to your own